everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. We have a very interesting show tonight, and you're going to be freaking out with who I have sitting next to me, and we're going to talk about him in a minute. But first of all, I'd like to welcome back Bumi. How are you?
Good evening, Heshy. It's always wonderful to be here.
You as always, thank you for coming back, and I want to thank Sawyer, you beautiful woman.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you for my ice cream tonight. My new guest tonight and side co-host. These are my sidekicks, by the way. Jay is Jay Cohn. I want to just quickly introduce him. Jay Cohn is a retired NYPD detective who worked organized crime, narcotics, gangs, firearms, vice enforcement. Now you're owner of a private investigation firm, Allegiance Investigation Solutions, it's called, and a co-founder of Standing Up for New York. I went to a couple of their rallies, wonderful people. And of course, they have a co-founder for Standing Up for New York, Tatiana Davidov, a mother of two, business management consultant for a law firm, co-founder of your thing, Standing Up for New York City, Inc., a nonprofit corporation that advocates for pro-law enforcement policies to restore law and order. I love you guys. Assist families or deadly crime victims affected by anti-police policies and sentiment, whatever. As well as we're going to get into it, educating citizens on all aspects of voting process. Anyways, Jay, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, Jay, as I tell all my guests, I make a joke and a quote every show. You have to laugh, Jay. I know you're a cop. I know you can shoot me, but it doesn't make a difference. You still have to laugh. If it's not funny, I know. Anyways, everybody, we have a wonderful show. We're going to talk to Jay. Everybody, you can call into the show. Where can you call into the show?
718-303-9090.
Wonderful. 718-303-9090. And Dimitri is going to put everybody on hold. Right, Dimitri? My thing. We're going to have Tatiana, his co-founder, to call into the show. Wonderful lady. I met Jay and Tatiana at a rally. They were just so kind to me. Talked to me. He treated me with respect.
He didn't arrest you.
No.
It's
so
not
nice
that
of
I'm
him.
saying, but you're going to see
that's because of bail reform.
Jay, you're in big trouble, but Jay is a good man. He's done this for many years. He's a good guy, and you're going to hear all about. Now you're going to hear from a real policeman. Anyways, besides Tatiana, and then we're going to also call into the show, 718-303-9090. You can watch us live on JustEnoughYouTube.com. Just Enough YouTube.
Just Enough Heshy on YouTube.
I forgot my own name. I know.
Just Enough Heshy Show.
Just Enough Heshy Show on YouTube. Just Enough Heshy on Facebook. Just Enough Heshy Twitter. Whatever you want to do.
Or just call in 718-303-9090.
And Dimitri's going to get our calls, and I keep reminding him. Anyways, we're not going to take calls for about a few minutes, but anyways, we're going to have to get to our commercial, so let's get going, right? We want to get the show
Absolutely.
started. Well, as you know, we have Chamula Jewelers. I love Chamula Jewelers. What is about Chamula Jewelers, Sawyer?
Oh, they're amazing. They have jewelry for weddings, anniversaries,
You're
bat
getting off script.
mitzvahs.
That's not the deal. He only paid us for the script. Let's go.
We've got the sparkle for you.
No. I hate you. 718-336-1980, located at 944 Kings Highway. They got jewelry and they're a business owned for over 40 years, specializing in diamond engagement rings and eternity bands.
I thought you said that.
Bring in your whole jewelry to freshen up. What is Chamula Jewelers?
They've got the sparkle for you.
Thank goodness. Tehila Tishla, ttstyles.com. By the way, she's my daughter-in-law. Wonderful girl. Married my son. Anyways, ttstyles.com. Tehila Tishla, 718-675-6842. 718-675-6842. Very busy, doing a lot of good work. And she does weddings, hair, makeup, everything that you want. Just call her up at 718-675-6842. Wigs, she's just wonderful.
This one is mine.
Go ahead.
She brings out the beauty in you.
You always do that correct. Tehila Tishla. And then, of course, we have technical difficulties. Wonderful boy. He's like you, Jay. We're going to talk about Jay. Jay needs a good woman. Not really. We'll see if we're going to get in trouble with him. I don't know what's going on. He doesn't have a wedding band on, but he has his New York police retired ring over there, right? A big, gigantic ring.
So we have to get him the other ring now.
No, right. Don't mistake that for a wedding ring. He's really a good-looking man. I'm jealous. I'm sitting next to him, so maybe I can look good. Technical difficulties, 718-259-4593. Does really good work. 1504 60th Street. Avi Fleischer, just really good. He does everything computer needs. 718-259-4593. And then, of course, we have Green Line Building Solutions, 718-871-0382. We do permits, plans, fire department violations, criminal violations. We just helped some mask tickets. Today was a mask ticket day. We got 2 guys off.
It's a familiar company. I wonder who owns that one.
Green Line Building Solutions. You call me. We have 2 hours of constituent service located at 202 Forster Avenue, 718-871-0382. Plans, permits. We get rid of everything. We help everybody all over the place.
When are those 2 hours of constituent services?
Just call. We find 2 hours. And then what do we got next?
Fallon's Place. Beautiful clothing for adults, teens, and children. Located at 3132 Bedford Avenue. FallonsPlace.com or call them at 718-325-5667, 718-FALLONS.
Not 718 Fallon's. It's Fallon's Place.
The phone number.
The phone number. Wow, that was very good. 718.
It was so smooth,
I
and then
know.
you just
FALLONS.
knocked it.
I did. 718-325-5667. And then we have my friend at Wolf's Grocery.
Located at 2362 Nostrand Avenue. They're open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you can reach them at 718-252-1863.
He's the one that had the toilet paper even when everybody else ran out, right?
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. He had the toilet paper. Very good. He's a very nice man. This week, he did not call me to comment on anything I said wrong. Looks like I did a good show last week.
Phenomenal. Your
Se-
advertisements especially.
718-252-1863, 718-252-1863, located at 2362 Nostrand Avenue. And then we have our favorite guy, Joe and Joe Leifer, just Devora Leifer, just wonderful people. And what company do they own?
Traveler's Choice. For all your travel needs, Traveler's Choice is the only choice. Was I supposed to say their address and phone number?
You're supposed to add that at the end, Sawyer. Would help? Yes.
That's the whole
Tell
idea.
us about what they do.
You can go anywhere. You could travel anywhere in the world. They
Wow.
will make all the arrangements,
You just-
itinerary
you just
from A
won't-
to Z.
You just won't read the script. 212-868-8698.
What script?
Can you let me finish? 212-868-8698. 212-868-8698. Yossi and Devora Leifer. You can buy tickets. He helps you with refunds. He helps you with car rentals, hotels. He gives you all a bunch of advice. I couldn't get into a hotel upstate. He found a way to get me in. He knows it. He's just a wonderful, good guy. 212-868-8698. Traveler's Choice. They are
Your only choice for travel.
exactly. Then we have Prime by Ari. He has great meats. I mean, I had the most delicious steaks again this week. Linda went and he got 5% off if you WhatsApp him. But his phone number is 718-851-02. No, 718-851-0051. 718-851-0051. Located at 5010 16th Avenue, 5010 16th Avenue, Prime by Ari. Or if you WhatsApp him, he'll give you pictures, free delivery, 5% off. 718-851-0288 is his WhatsApp number.
We have a holiday coming up, so if everybody wants to do a barbecue,
That's right. And you know, that's my
what holiday's coming up?
It's Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day weekend.
It's my anniversary, 31 years.
Mazel tov.
Thank you,
That's
thank
so
you.
exciting.
Yeah, I have to push you out the window. Anyway, no, that was a joke.
But first, get your steak from Ari's Prime
I will. First get your steak by Ari's Prime. Anyways, we
before you
have,
push anyone out the window.
but very, very good. I like all his steaks. I like everything that he does. And pretty much I want to talk about Luxor Kitchens. You could call Penny Tversky. Very good. 29 Parkville Avenue in Brooklyn. 718-480-0211. Extension 207. Penny Tversky, 718-480-0211, extension number 207, Luxor Kitchens. They design them. They're very good. I mean, I have my own kitchen from him. Very well priced. I checked him out.
It's a beautiful kitchen.
Very
actually.
nice. Yeah, I did do a nice. You were in my house. I invited you again.
Many
for this
times. I love
weekend.
the island as well. It's beautiful.
Right. We're going to be talking
Heshy,
to
may I
What do you
just
mean
take
you invited us again? We're such horrible guests.
No, you were very good. You always come late.
What are you talking about?
Well,
We come an hour early.
I know. Well, I was walking around onto the hospital. You know, Jay, I volunteer at the hospital on the weekends.
Right.
And sometimes I have a couple extra places.
We come to Heshy's house before Heshy.
So, right, I always have guests and they all get angry because they're hungry. But, you know, I'm out doing volunteer. This week I went with my son. We went, not only did we do the hospital, we stopped off at a friend who had a baby and he made a kiddush. And then, of course, the widow that I go to make blessings at a kiddush with. And then this week I had a friend that wasn't well. And I want to scream at all of you right now. I know you're going to scream at me about your coronavirus. And I'm just telling you now, if you look at the reports, and I'm going to print it to you right here that I have it printed out, coronavirus, you're correct. We have from July 12th through August 14th, we've been stable with no changes. And here's my final thing before I get to my quote and joke. Again, my Manly's hospital, I was there. I walked around, 0 corona patients. Now, one of my friends was taken in very sick, and he had double pneumonia. And again, they said corona. 13 people out of the wedding that I went to, they said had corona. They retested it. The mayor lied. None of them corona. Some of these corona tests are wrong, guys.
How could you keep on saying that there is no corona when we haven't had the national election yet?
So, okay.
Well, we are before the election still. There is corona.
So I want you to know, just for your knowledge about your governor.
There's also Budweiser, too.
But Jay, this is what we're going to be screaming about the Belize and Cuomo. But the CDC came out, you don't have to wear masks anymore. So Governor Cuomo went on, how could the CDC do such a thing? It's wrong. So not only that, he screamed, he says, Trump now controls the CDC and has tricked them to say this because, and he says, we don't care. We're not going to listen to the CDC.
It's always like that. It's either Trump did it if there's something wrong that happened, or it's Heshy that did it.
But I thought Cuomo had some brains, but he's lost altogether. We're going to do our quick joke for the day.
Before you do that, may I, Heshy? I just want to give a shout out to your dear friend that I met today. I had a privilege to meet your friend, the broker, Karen Rimberg.
Oh, Karen Romberg.
She was wonderful. I had a lovely time meeting with her, and I'm looking forward to doing business with her. She's a wonderful lady.
From Cochrane.
From the Cochrane Group, and I appreciate your having introduced me to her, making the introduction.
And Jay, I want you to know, I have 102 nephews and nieces, as everybody knows, plus all the foster kids that I've taken in. Today, my nephew, the lawyer, just had a baby girl. I'm going to post it tomorrow.
103.
103. And I want you to wish Gabriel and Sarah beautiful Mazel Tov to you. They just had
Mazel Tov, Gabriel and Sarah.
Of happiness, health, and
happiness. No sleep for the next 18 years.
Gabriel, and just in case Gabriel's listening, you better be at work tomorrow. I'm not giving you the day off. Anyways, that's my thing. A shout out to my friend Ellie. A shout out to Sergeant Peter from the
Sergeant Peter.
We love you, Sergeant Peter. And who else are you shouting out?
I always shout out to my dear friend Dov Heiken. I can't help it. I always.
So I wanted you to know we're starting the show in a minute, and Tatiana's going to be calling in. I want you to know that I've been busting Senator Felder's chops a lot. And I'm not saying that I don't like him. I like Senator Felder. He's okay. He's a nice guy, And I like my friend Carmen Yeager, and I like a lot of people. Sometimes I get angry when the politicians think that they can live on their past. You took on a serious job. You have to be there for us. Don't try to take credit what you've done. Go forward. This is what you did. You're a grocer, bring your food in. You're a doctor, take care of the doctor. If you become mayor or governor or senator, you've got to take all the calls. Don't think you can't handle or not pick up the phones or Corona's here, you're running away. You are responsible for us. So anyways, I've been busting Senator Felder's chops a lot. So I just want you to know, is that Tatiana calling in? We have to check. Yes, Tatiana. We're going to put her on the phone.
Yes, that's a 954, right.
Anyways, I want you to know something. So what happened is me and my son Yaakov, and you're going to love this. Yaakov and me, Tatiana?
Hi, how are you guys?
Hi, Tatiana.
Tatiana, we're going to start the show in a minute. We just want to put you on hold. Jay,
hang in there.
Tatiana is Jay's co-founder. Jay, say hello to Tatiana.
I always say hello to her.
Tatiana, but I want you to know I had a fight with this Senator Felder a couple times. I've insulted him many times, as I insult all politicians. When I become a politician, I guess I'll have to insult myself. So anyways, my son went to college, and he did summer classes, and he comes home one day, and he says, Pop, you're not going to believe this. You know what the name of my professor is? I said, what? He said, Simcha Felder. And we laughed. We said, wow,
Professor?
Professor Simcha Felder.
Professor? What is the meaning of this professor?
Whatever. All I can tell you is that we're joking around. We says, he has the same name as the guy I fight with. And we joke, most likely it's not the same guy. And Yaakov is not into politics. He doesn't know the difference. And he took his college classes. Monday, he has to start his new yeshiva and his new college, so I had to drop him off in school. So he asked the professor as a favor, he says, my name is Yaakov Tischler. I can't take the final on Wednesday. Would you be so kind and do me a favor and give me the test on Monday? So Professor Felder says, yeah, come up to my office. I'll give you a private final, and you can go to class. And me and Yaakov thought, wow, this is wonderful. This guy is a real nice guy. So I drive Yaakov to the professor's office, and I
Uh-oh.
drop him off. Yaakov goes up. I wait for Yaakov an hour and a half. Yaakov comes down. He says, "Pop, you're not going to like this." I said, "Why?" He says, "This is Senator Felder." I says, "Oh, no, it can't be. You're making a mistake." He says, "No, I looked around his whole office. The pictures say Senator Felder. This is the guy you always fight with. He was so nice to me." I said, "What do you mean he's nice to you?" He spoke for 20 minutes to me. He asked me my name. He asked me who your father is.
Oh boy.
I says, "Yaakov, I hope you pass." He says, "Yes, I think I passed."
Well, if he doesn't give him a good grade, and I know
No,
he's
no,
a
no,
good
no,
boy,
stop,
we're going to
man.
be making petitions.
I would like to thank Simcha Felder very much for being so good to my boy. I know I give you a hard time, but
an
this-
A.
this
He
time
deserves
you
an
get 2
A.
points credit.
Well,
Anyways,
I would
A
like
plus.
to see Simcha be so good to all of the constituents in his district.
so I want to tell you a quick story. I've had some notoriety lately. I've been a little popular with the parks. So
You're the park buster.
park buster. So
Who you're going to call?
So I went to, I was one morning, I jumped into the shower and I was running a little late. And all of a sudden you hear my wife. I'm not making a joke about my wife. Usually I make fun of Melinda. She warned me not to. So I said, I'm going to say this joke. So I was in the shower and all of a sudden Linda knocks on the door. Heshy, come out quickly. The Daily News is on the phone. Wow, Daily News. This is a popular thing. This is a big time publication. Jay was on Fox. I was just happy to be on the Daily News. Quickly, I jump out of the shower. I trip. I bump my head, cut my head, a little bit bloody. I run out the door. I slip in the hallway, running to the phone. I lose my foot as I crawl over to the phone. Okay, bleeding, bruised up. I put the phone on speaker. Hello. She says, "Is this Mr. Tischler?" She says, "Yes." I said, "Yes." She says, "Well, we'd like to know, would you like our publication for 75 cents a week?" I said, and then all of a sudden, Linda starts laughing. I'm going to kill that broad. You should have checked my.
She got you.
How come Jay's not laughing? I'm not happy.
laughing.
You're lying, Jay. You're lying. It's
I'm
okay.
laughing.
Anyways,
What about our quote of the day,
the
Heshy?
quote of the day, and this is for Jay. I say this a few times. Good actions give strength to ourselves, inspire good actions to others. And this is who my friend Jay Cohen is.
It's like karma.
This man,
Yeah.
he gives
Do good
out
and do
good
good to others.
vibes. He gives out good things. Jay, we're going to start our show with you and Tatiana. Tatiana, welcome to the Just Enough Heshy Show. How are you?
Doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Jay, I want to ask you a question. We know that you're a retired detective. We said that. We know your life has been in danger many times, especially what I've read in the narcotics and gangs. You now retired. You should have been chilled. What's going on with you? Why have you now continued to fighting for the police? Aren't you done with the police? Aren't you just out of here? I mean, what's going on? What's this organization about? And tell us, Jay, I want to hear a little bit about your past. I mean, you're a police officer. I mean, aren't you just emotionally broken of everything you've seen? I'm not talking about the shootings and the killings and the detective work you've done. I mean, you've seen so much that what we can all put together this room, we can't even imagine. I mean, tell us, how did you make it?
Well, that's the thing.
By the way, you don't have hair, so I understand why you lost it. No, it's a joke. It's a joke. He's good looking. Tell us a little bit about you and
So-
Tatiana.
Well, yeah, I could let Tatiana talk about the organization, but to answer what you said, basically, like once you're a police officer, it's in your blood. So whether you're active, retired, that uniform that we donned, even as a detective, we didn't wear uniforms, but we still, pretty much had the blue in us, and that's the blue life. So whether you're retired or active, that's your life. And
Why did you join the police force? I mean, didn't you know that your life could be in danger? What craziness put you through? I'm not that I'm saying
Well,
you're crazy.
yeah.
I mean, you actually every day you woke up and you knew you might not come back.
Right. So I'm going to be honest. Why I joined was because of Miami Vice. I wanted to be like Don Johnson, and I said that guy's cool driving Ferraris. And then when you join the NYPD, you're like, there's no Ferraris.
Yeah, there's a budget car.
There's budget cuts. In 1998, I was like, wow, this is not really cool. But I like to help people, and I like psychology, and that's what I went to college for. And I wanted to be a profiler for FBI, and that never happened. So I said, let me stay with the police department.
Now, when you saw, I know you saw murder victims. Didn't you just die or cry or eat yourself up, especially when they were young kids or gang members going around bullying people? Didn't it just break you? I mean, how did you go home at night?
Well, that's the thing. So the idea about it is, especially as a psychology major, you have to distance yourself emotionally. You have to put up an emotional wall between yourself and the horrors in society. We see the bad in people. Not a lot of people saw the bad in people, but we'd also see the good in people. And what I mean by that is, when I was in the low socioeconomic urban areas, you know, everybody thinks of crime and depravity and drugs and whatever. And yeah, they have those in those areas, but there are good people, and 95% of those people are good, decent people. And you know, when you're doing a search warrant for narcotics or drugs for a gang member at 6 a.m, and one of the elderly neighbors opens the door next to them and says, "Thank you," you know, that gives you like hope and encouragement that you're doing the right thing, that you're getting the scum out of the area so good people could live.
It sounds like you have something what I believe most police officers do have, and why they join the force. They have this certain innate drive to do good,
Right.
to help other people, to
Right.
protect other people, to support other people in need.
Yeah.
Now,
And
Jay,
something that
you
you
know,
carry
you know
with you.
that I think it was 10 or 11 police officers committed suicide this year. I mean, what? I mean, you're a good guy. You seem great, but does this job really drive you to such craziness that you'd have to kill yourself?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you know, when it comes to mental health, there are organizations out there like PAPA, that's the police officers' assistants, and you know, there are people, mental health counselors that police officers can speak with, but it's the stigma. Nobody wants to be known as that's the guy that wants to kill himself.
Right.
I don't want to be around. I don't want to be in a car with him. What if he blows his head off, or what if he,
Wow.
you know? So there's a very big stigma with the medical division, because once you get designated as a psych person, somebody with a psych history, nobody wants to talk to you. So it's almost
Sounds
you're-
like that's one of the reasons why you mentioned before about putting up the walls.
Yeah.
It sounds like those barriers are critical.
yeah,
in
you
this
have
line
to
of
put up
work.
an emotional. Yeah.
I want to ask
barrier.
him, and here's the question that I know he's ready for, and I'm going to ask you too, anyways. You do know about the George Floyd shooting, and of course this other shooting in Wisconsin, which the mayor has nothing better what to do. He has enough problems in this city, and the mayor all of a sudden is worrying. You know, our city's being destroyed, and he just doesn't have his facts straight, and he's so busy. He's just busy going to Wisconsin. Let him be busy with our local politics instead of going to Wisconsin. Mayor de Blasio, I hate you, and you know I'm coming after you for the restaurants. I'm coming after you. You think I'm not going to open up the wedding halls? Mayor, I'm not scared of you. My boys in blue love me in my town. You come into my neighborhood, I'm coming after you. Trust me, I'm not scared of you. But here's what I'm going to ask you. You know, there's an organization called Black Lives Matter, and I was with him at a rally where they both stood face to face. I was right in the middle. I couldn't believe it, and Jay didn't lose it. Those guys just stood there. They argued. I love you. You are just so patient, so calm. You let them freak out in your face, which I thought for sure you guys should beat the hell out of what they were doing to you. But Jay, here's my question. Black Lives Matter has a question for you. They've been bullied. They have a right to loot, rob, hurt people because they need to. I don't know why, but they have a right, they're saying, to do that. Shouldn't the police allow them to do that?
Absolutely not.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
But everybody saw it on Twitter. Your mayor allows them not only to say it publicly, and they continue to march, and they do it, and they're constantly looting. My neighborhood has to have, thank God our police officers love us, and they work with our volunteer organizations, but they're allowing them to go. And you know, the Jewish people, we've been persecuted through the years. You know that. You have the Hitler thing. Hitler, you know what he did was
We've had the
Right.
pogroms, the
Right.
Inquisitions,
But
the Holocaust.
you know,
We've had everything
in
throughout the centuries.
1933, that's what Hitler did.
More recently than the blacks being slaves.
But
Excuse me.
Hitler tried
That's correct.
Hitler defunded the police, and that's why everybody went crazy. But again,
Well,
Now-
no. What Hitler did was he basically gave a choice. He said, either you're with us or you're dead.
right,
And what did they
Right.
do? They became the SS.
right.
They said, okay, we're with you. We're with you.
But doesn't it make sense? I mean, according to de Blasio, that why do we need so many police officers? We should defund the police, and we should, I don't know, let everybody behave themselves by themselves. I mean, we're going to take away $1 billion from the police. The police don't need it. Let's just use it for something other, like life.
Jay, you can feel free to tell our audience what kind of imbecile Mayor de Blasio
Right.
is.
I mean,
you can feel
maybe
free to
it's
say it.
Mayor de
Don't hold back.
Maybe if
Jay.
we had
Yeah.
a normal mayor.
But maybe the mayor's right. We should defund the police. I'm not saying you should. That's not my opinion. When I become city councilman, it won't happen. But is the mayor right? Is he mentally ill? Is he? Tell us what's going on.
So I mean, if you want to call being a socialist, a Marxist, mentally ill, yeah, I guess that's, because I don't think anybody wants that oppression. I think, and Tatiana, she can agree with the Eastern European immigrant community. The people that came here from those countries that wanted to flee from the Marxist Leninist ideologies and oppression. Tatiana, what do you think about that?
Yeah, Tatiana, I want you to tell us about first of all, Tatiana, introduce yourself. I know you're a mother of two, which is itself, it's a big job. Plus you work with a law firm. Plus you're helping co-found and run this beautiful organizations for our policemen and stuff. Tell us about you and tell us about the organization.
Well, this organization was born out of a Facebook group.
One minute, Tatiana, I want to know about you, Tatiana. Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I think I've got a fair introduction.
I mean, mother of two is enough. I know, mother of two is enough.
I think he's fishing to find out if you're single. I don't know.
Renovations and the move and, and the job and the business and it killed me. I don't know. To tell you about the group was born, I think the end of May 30th, when the looting started in Manhattan. My heart was breaking. I was watching this on TV and I'm like, why is everybody home? I don't understand. Why is nobody standing up to this? These crowds are avoiding confrontations with big groups. They just go there quietly like rats, break a store. They see police or a large crowd coming. They run away and they come back when it's safe again. Why don't we form a group and people who will come out and stand up? I was willing to take a baseball bat and go out there, not to smash someone's head, but, to look intimidating at least. And, it's funny because this group started growing so fast, much faster than I ever imagined. And then we got different goals for this as a movement to turn into organization, do bigger and better things. Nobody's paying attention. I mean, we're going to talk about police brutality. Why don't we talk about, the 1-2-year-olds that die as a result of the gun violence, illegal gun violence? Do we not care about Black lives at that point? How does it make sense? How much money did Black Lives Matter as an organization donated to these people? Why don't you help somebody pay an electric bill in this heat, for people who cannot afford that? I know there are programs, but still, there are disabled people who cannot afford it, who live literally welfare check to welfare check, and they're still behind, and they may be disabled, they may have health issues, etc. That's in the family. A provider for the household may have been killed by the gun violence from these illegal firearms.
But Tatiana, can I ask you a question? It costs so much money, this police force. Maybe it's worth a couple people to get shot and die. It's called collateral damage. Is it? I mean, I think that's stupid what I just said.
No, but
my point is, your mayor is defunding us by $1 billion, so maybe that's what his reason is. It's worth it.
I think what our mayor needs to do, if he's so generous, is refuse his police detail. Maybe donate some money as well. Go to a poor neighborhood, help them clean up, volunteer your time. Your wife spent hundreds of millions of dollars right now that are unaccounted for.
$1 billion too. Tatiana.
They just got their budget raised, but the money actually spent, I think it's $650 million that they spent so far.
No. It's $1.2 billion. She blew
1.25.
1.25. I'm sorry.
And there's no accountability. Where is it? Where is that money?
Exactly. Well, we submitted, our organization submitted several FOILs. We have a response due January 20th, 2021. FOIL is a Freedom of Information Law request where any government entity in the city of New York and state of New York can provide you the information that should be publicly available through controller's office, for example.
Right.
You can ask for records, you can ask for camera footage, you can ask for reports, anything that's not confidential information you can request. And with governments, nothing's pretty much confidential. It should be publicly available. Same way as you can submit it on the federal level, you can submit it on the state level as well.
I want to go a different. You are the organization. Last week, you guys had a rally in the city. Is that correct? On Saturday?
Yeah, that was Scott Lebedo's rally.
Scott Lebedo's rally that
we
participated
supported
in.
it. Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people over there coming out. Are you a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter? Not that you have to tell us.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Trump 2020, baby.
Jay, we have to ask you the question, Jay. Woman, where's Jay?
I'm very tolerant, and I try to understand both sides, and I always try to stick in the middle. But if I have to pick between, like for example, 2016 election, I did not vote because picking between Trump, who I didn't know what he stands for, what he's gonna do, and Hillary, who seriously, that was a circus. I just did not go to vote. But now I can see what Trump did in the last 4 years. Do I want to break his phone? Of course I do. Do I want?
We were just talking about that earlier.
That's right.
Twitter. Stay off Twitter.
Do I see him as not very, diplomatic when he presents his viewpoints? Of course I do. But maybe this is the shake this country needs. I look at his campaign promises and I look at what he did, and you can put a check mark next to everything.
Promises made, promises kept.
Tatiana,
exactly.
Tatiana, as a woman, okay,
you're a woman?
No, I do have my feminine side, Jay. You're sitting too close, Jay.
He's rubbing my leg.
Jay is sitting too close to me, Jay.
Tatiana, help me. He's rubbing my leg.
I want you to know, Tatiana, as a woman, I'm going to ask you this question right now. To maybe change your opinion, Biden picked not only a woman but a black woman, a woman of color, to run as his vice president.
I'm not even sure that she's actually a black woman. I think she has Indian parents.
She claims to be other than.
She claims something else at different times.
Indian.
She's still a woman. My question: does that now maybe? Does that maybe change your opinion on Biden? That maybe his assistant, his second in command, like Jay has you there, makes it more appealing to vote for Biden?
No, wait a minute. I'm her.
Oh, you're her assistant in command. Okay.
If you
Tatiana's the brains.
If you have to pick a candidate based on a color or a sex
or gender,
or gender, of his running mate, then how is it if not sexism or racism? I don't understand.
That's exactly what it is, Tatiana.
Very good.
Wow.
You hit the nail on the head.
You get an A for that, Tatiana. A for that.
She's brains and beauty, I tell you.
That's exactly what's happening in our country now. This is what's called reverse racism.
Right. Shaming. It's also shaming too.
That's exactly right. That is what things have gone that far.
You don't like what we
that
stand
has
for?
existed for a while now.
Raise your hand for black. Okay, why? I'm eating at a restaurant. Like the people that were eating in Washington D.C. when the mob surrounded them.
That's correct.
Yes. Raise your hand, Black Power. Ladies, like, no, I was with you guys, but I'm eating.
That's correct.
Let me eat. And then
all lives matter, and this is exactly what's been happening.
If you have to put a race in front of lives matter, that's racist.
That's racist.
Tatiana, you have two little children, if I'm correct, right? Tatiana?
So,
you have two little children. Are you a little afraid for them to run around and go out by themselves?
Of course. I mean, the way the city's going, the safety of your kids is always your priority. And with everything that's happening right now, I'm personally would never take a train at this point by myself. I'm not even talking about taking my kids on the train, and I caught myself on the thought that I'm afraid to even walk on the public street because I don't know at which point somebody may decide to play a punch a white girl game. Now, you've seen that going around lately.
I want to ask you a question, Jay. I'm sitting on the train or walking in the street, and I've seen videos yesterday of a young couple walking into an elevator, and somebody came to them with a gun to try to take away their phone and stuff, and the guy was fighting back and not giving it away. At the end, they ended up giving up. What would you do, Jay? Do we give up? Do we fight back? I mean, aren't we tired of getting abused, tired of being robbed, ripped off, beaten up? I mean, I know you wouldn't. I know you're a tough guy, but what would you do? Would you just give it up? I know our lives are more important than a stupid cell phone or money. But how many times are you going to rob me? How many times are you going to break into my house?
So that's the thing. I'm one of the fortunate ones, being a retired detective, to still carry concealed firearm, which I have right now. So if anybody,
my father.
I heard, as a matter of fact, there was a woman in Williamsburg today who was beaten into a coma.
Oh no!
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Into a coma.
Wow.
Really?
But Jay, my father-in-law, by the way, was a court officer for 31 years,
Yeah.
and he loved his gun. When he retired, we were all screaming at him, he can't have his gun. I know what the feeling is you want it.
That's the
He-
thing.
he
It's
had
our
a-
Second Amendment rights, but we're also trained.
He had
We're
a
trained
big,
in that.
he had a big fight with us. I'm not giving up the gun. And we
Right.
said, you can't come into our houses with the gun. And we said, you're retired, man. You're 65
Heshy, but
years
it's
old.
different, Heshy. You're talking about police officers, court
talking
officers.
somebody
They have
trained.
special training. Ordinary,
got you.
citizens
Well,
maybe depends on their,
We just didn't want him to
they have the
it.
right, but
So that-
some
so
they have
that-
to know who should be getting it, who should really
Right,
run,
well-
and that they
well-
have the control.
Right. So that's the whole thing. So I'm all for, our Second Amendment.
Correct.
It's our constitutional right. It's civil liberties.
But shouldn't you get
the-
psychological evaluation?
That's another thing also. Yes. So there has to be some kind of reform, obviously, with the mental health status. If a doctor says, hey, Joe Schmo is not,
Yeah, he could be dangerous.
Yeah, he might be
possession.
dangerous. That might have prevented some school shootings or whatever. But it's
Correct.
also the parents when you have kids in the house. When I have my daughter over, I have my gun locked up in a safe, and she's almost 3 years old, so she doesn't
You
know.
never forget. You come home tired. You're fighting with your brother. Come on, you forget to lock the box. It never happens.
No,
Wow.
because I'm trained.
Not with a trained
That's the thing.
professional. Heshy.
When you have a firearm, right now, the gun itself is a paperweight. I could put it on the table right now, and it'll just be on top of the table. When it's in the hands of people with malintent to use that for brutality or whatever it is, whatever their intent is, that's when it becomes a dangerous weapon. Same as a vehicle, right? How many terrorists
Same
attack
as a knife. It can be used to
knife.
cut a slice of
A
cake,
knife.
or it can be used to
A
stab
fork.
somebody.
Tatiana, we're going to come back to you, Tatiana, but I want to ask you a question. You've been a detective, a police officer. You know that you went to arrest people, and sometimes they got wild. Sometimes they didn't cooperate.
Right.
Explain to me, and I'm going to ask you the question, George Floyd. I'm going to ask you the thing. I mean, you had to fight back. I mean, you had to hold them back. You had to do something. I mean, did you get a little too rough? Did you maybe feel that you went overboard sometimes? I mean, I understand they're a gang member, but sometimes even a nice person just flips out on you. Okay.
Right. So that's where our training comes in. It becomes like a second nature. It becomes muscle memory. The more you train the proper way, because remember, there's something called practice, right? But
Practice makes perfect.
no, but here's the thing: what if practice is not perfect? It's
The practice
perfect
has to be done
practice.
right.
Perfect practice makes
Perfect.
perfect. Right. Exactly.
what's your so I'm
So
not-
so that's what I'm saying. With our training, we're trained in martial arts, takedown maneuvers and stuff. And now with the diaphragm law now that they want, the cops can't touch a person's back or anything. How are they going to make an arrest?
oh really?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that.
No.
Yeah,
You
our
have
city
to be able
council
to-
and
You shoot him
Reasonably-
7 times in the back.
Now
Can't touch.
no,
the guy who I know, don't get angry, because a lot of my people of different colors are asking the question.
Yeah.
Was the George Floyd thing good, not good? Did he mess up? Was he wrong? Tell me. I mean, are other police officers angry at this guy?
Of course, and that was the whole thing. So this whole racial unrest came from that incident, but also it stemmed from other incidents before. But I don't think there was one cop or one person in America or the world that thought that Derek Chauvin did the right thing. Absolutely not.
But he didn't go out to kill the
No,
No, but
that's
by the
thing.
same token,
That's
He
the
had
thing.
a
when the
history.
racial unrest broke out,
Right.
nobody actually saw more than a minute or two of what had actually been transpired between the police officer
Well, it was
and the
like
officers. And we certain just a few
it
seconds
was
or
a few
whatever it is.
snippets, but then
Then
the other
later
video
now,
came out.
just recently, the other video came out and
Right.
showed
Right.
what actually
How
transpired.
it all transpired. That's because Keith Ellison, the Minnesota Attorney General, who's also an Antifa supporter.
No,
Oh, boy.
really?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you guys Google it, he has a book holding the Antifa. What is it? The
Ugh.
Antifa handbook or whatever it is.
Ugh.
Google it. Google it.
Yeah.
Keith Ellison, the Minnesota Attorney General,
That's manipulation of news.
and he held that because he said he didn't want the police officer's body cam video and other video footage to ruin his prosecution. So now you're one-sided. Now it's not about the equal scales of justice. Now it's
No.
about I want this cop.
I want to hang him.
I want to
and it
hang him
doesn't
and
matter.
his partners, who a lot of people don't know. Those other cops, those other 3 cops, the Asian, the Spanish, and the other one, I don't remember the names, but they were pretty much rookies. They were under the guidance of Derek Chauvin,
So they
He
have
was
to
the rookie
follow his
officer.
orders.
and I believe in one of the videos, like, hey, you want to get off his back, and Derek Chauvin is still there. That I don't believe it was a racial motivated incident. I believe that it was a whole thing where George Floyd owed him money from working as a
George
bouncer.
Floyd had a history.
Something- no, but
he
it's
had a
not-
rap sheet as long as my arm.
Stop.
No,
Stop. We
but-
don't kill people for that.
Right, exactly.
But I'm not saying we
I'm
do.
not. But I don't think it was a racially motivated. I believe they had
I
a
agree with you.
prior.
John.
No, and it came out. They had a prior
History.
where George Floyd or somebody owed Chauvin money for being a bouncer in a restaurant or a nightclub, and money was never paid or whatever. And they didn't want to. The mainstream media doesn't want to tell you that.
No,
Right.
there's a lot
media-
more to the story.
the
It's
problem.
like the mainstream media is saying, "You want to vent? Go out and vent. Let them vent."
Yeah,
That's what
oh,
happened when we had.
right.
Who was that mayor that said that? You remember David Dinkins when we had the riots in
Back in
Crown
the
Heights?
80s. In the
Back
80s.
in the 80s, he
I
said,
was a kid.
"Let them vent. Let them get it out of their system."
You have hundreds of thousands of police officers across this country. Am I correct?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
let's go through them. Most of the time, people are not killed
right.
or doing arrests or stuff like this.
So-
So it happens very few.
Very, right.
Why are we all flipping? I mean, really.
Well, that's the thing. I think because of the whole pandemic,
Yeah.
months of being cooped up
Yeah.
for a virus that they thought the mortality rate was higher than it was.
right.
Obviously,
2.5 million Americans are supposed
Whatever.
to die. Yeah.
But then
Makes
again,
sense. Makes sense. When does crime go up normally without the pandemic? During the summer in the heat, when people are going stir crazy from the
Right.
heat.
yeah,
The environment. So that it was like what do you call
but
it?
it was like a 1-2 punch, like a perfect storm. You had
Absolutely.
you had the
Perfect
COVID,
storm.
the whole COVID thing. Then you had the murder hornets. Oh, we're gonna get killed by the murder hornets. Forget it. Look out.
That was
And
the
then you
next
had
thing.
the riots, the racial unrest.
And then
And
you have of course, the
I-
Democrats against Trump.
Right.
I
Well,
wanna-
it-
I
And then you
wanna-
have the mayor and the governor playing
I wa-
us and
I
telling
wanna-
us that it's going to be another couple of months, and
I wa-
people are just
Right.
I want to ask Jay one
Perfect
more
storm.
question, then we're going to go back to Tatiana. Jay, I'm against marijuana. I'm against drugs. I had a lot of kids in my house with issues. I have 71 suicides in my hospital this year. I'm upset. You've seen drugs. Is drugs a big problem in America or is it not? Especially in New York City. And do you allow, I mean, not you, your personal, I want your personal opinion on legalizing marijuana.
So yeah, drugs, are a big,
Remember, you're a
big
narcotics.
issue.
You're a narcotics.
narcotics detective, right? But yes, so there are drugs, the crack, the heroin, now the fentanyl that's coming from China, that's being sprinkled into the heroin, that's causing people. And I believe George Floyd had a huge dose of fentanyl in his system, enough to kill a horse or something. They said,
Wow.
whatever it was. Yeah, I'm definitely against those hard drugs, and I've seen firsthand, meth, how it deteriorates, how it destroys somebody. When it comes to marijuana, I believe that look, some states have legalized it, and they've made a revenue out of it, and they've made profit. Colorado, DC.
Right.
So
It still messes kids up. I can't.
it does, but so does alcohol. I mean, it's the
Okay,
same,
and it's the same excuse.
same kind of thing.
Tatiana, your organization, what is your goal here? What is your outcome? What do you want to accomplish with our organization here?
Well, first of all, we want to get rid of this mayor because he is.
Thank you, Tatiana.
I'm
We
with you.
love
I'm
you.
with you.
Any
I'm with you on that.
We stand behind
Any
you.
legal avenue that we can take, to fight with this. We want to raise awareness. We want to make sure that we unite people around the idea that, you cannot be a couch potato and expect somebody else to do something for you. We all have to unite, and we all have to stand up to his hypocrisy, to
And
his
throw the bum out.
policies, to his socialist agenda. I'm not sure if the guy who would take his place would be any better with his
Jumaane Williams,
policies,
the public
at
advocate,
least,
Oh my God.
he'd be worse.
He'd be the
it's
worst. And
human
Eric Adams.
nature-
And I just want you to know something. We might have Eric Tatiana, we might have Eric Adams as our mayor.
What?
And here's my problem with Eric Adams.
Eric Adams
No.
joined our Facebook group, didn't he? Didn't he join our Facebook group, Eric
Yeah,
Adams?
he's there.
Eric Adams, I see as a
keeping
more
his eye
moderate.
on you.
But
Hey, we're unbiased, nonpartisan.
I see him as being much better than any other.
it doesn't make a
current-
difference. But
He's more of a moderate. He's
the
not
point is,
left-leaning, progressive.
the only
correct.
thing I think about Eric Adams is he was a police officer.
Right, he was a captain for many years.
The problem I think is he's lost. I was watching him on TV the other day, and somebody says, the bus passes me by and he's not nice to me. So Eric Adams asked him, he says, you tell me where that bus stop is and I'm going to come. This is what our borough president is busy with. Not busy with taking care of the hungry and the poor and our budgets and taking care of postpartum
My bus
depression.
driver didn't say hello to me.
So he's going to go.
Didn't say hello or didn't pick the person up. I mean, it's a
something
big
like that.
difference.
And so this is what I think. Very good. Let's take one phone call. Tatiana, I want you to hear a phone call. Take line 2. Hello, you're on the air. You're on the air with Heshy, J, Sawyer, Bumi, and Tatiana. Who's calling? No,
Hello, who do we have on the air?
I guess we lost him. My cell phone. Knock him off.
Shy.
Tatiana, your goal here is not only to show awareness, but how do we support our police officers? Tell me what I have to do. What can I do to support? I understand.
As a future councilman as well.
That's right. I want to hear what you feel that we should do for our police officers.
Well, not only you can join the multiple rallies to show the support. I think what I personally do when we're not on a rally, every time I see a police car, I always say hello. I wave, I make a heart gesture with my hands. I thank them for the service. And it instantly puts a smile on their face. Anybody with small children, if you can have them draw something, a thank you note, a little picture, bring it to your local precinct, you don't understand the emotional value that it has for them to know that their citizens, their community is behind them. It's very empowering, especially at these times when their hands are pretty much tied.
Tatiana, it's interesting that you should talk about expressions of gratitude, and it's true because it is the most empowering thing. And Heshy, incidentally, goes regularly to our local precinct and brings them lunches, catered lunches.
Yeah, that's great.
And
Whenever
beautiful
I see a
stuff. He
police
always
officer,
does so.
when I
Heshy.
see a police officer on the street, I always jump in the back and give him a bottle of water. I know he's running. I know they don't have a water in there. I know they're too busy. They can't. And when they were watching around Borough Park, sometimes they were put in front of the police officers are put in front of different synagogues.
Right.
And I have a synagogue by us, and they sit outside sometimes for hours in their car. And I leave. I gave them my code to my office. I said, "You guys come in here. I know you might be embarrassed to the synagogue or something. You come into my office, use my water, my bathroom, anything you want."
Right.
And they, I'm only one. I wish everybody does.
Everybody should do
Tatiana's-
nothing.
So-
It shows more than
Tatiana's
nothing.
onto something.
That's
To
right.
be
That's
kind.
expression-
She's teaching the youth to be kind to our
Of course, yeah,
officers, to
yeah.
the people that are protecting us and protecting our
But
community.
Expressions
Black-
of gratitude are the most motivating factors to do good.
Yes,
But
it's
the black-
boosting morale, and that's why our organization is suing Mayor de Blasio for people that don't know.
I wanted to know about that.
Good.
Tell us
Yeah,
about
So
that.
we're
lawsuit.
suing Mayor de Blasio because we want to have a
So
Blue
you-
Lives Matter mural painted by One Police Plaza,
Absolutely.
which basically is to honor the fallen.
And he won't allow
that? And boost morale.
No,
And he won't allow it because
openly
he
said,
right. Go ahead. Yeah, he
no.
said Black Lives Matter.
Now,
Black Lives Matter was the one-time thing, no permit necessary. You guys go apply for a permit, and
he
even
also-
though we did send
Right.
out, we got a response from DOT saying, no, this was a one-time thing.
Right, it was a one-time
the
thing because
mayor's
Black Lives Matter
discretion, and
transcends
we're
all
going to-
normal realms.
This
all normality.
mayor is going to have an
Right.
interesting fight on his hands every which way when Heshy gets into office.
you
that's
just,
what we
you
hope.
just,
We
you
hope.
just, you
Yeah.
just watch. I'm going to be painting my streets because if the mayor didn't need a permit,
Nope.
I don't need a permit. And I want you to know, due to the shutdown, the eating in stores are still prohibited, but protesting is allowed. I
Yeah.
don't understand it. You got to explain it to me. And and the DOT is threatening my restaurants. I'm telling my restaurants, I'm telling my wedding halls, what could they do to you? The police are not going to enforce it without. Now, here's my question to you: can a police officer enforce some stupid executive order when there's no court order, no warrant? Can they do that?
No, they don't have to, and that's the thing. And with these mandates, with the COVID-19 restrictions, they're not laws. I mean, they're just mandates. They're just what our elected officials are saying. You guys can't do this. You guys can't do that. But they have no.
They have no. So if I come into,
They have no recourse. They
So-
have no game plan. What are we going to do
so if the Department of Buildings
later on?
So the Department of Buildings, the Department of Health says, I want to come in, I want to shut you down. You don't have to listen to them. And when they call the police, what are you going to do then? The police are going to show up.
But here's the thing: since they're defunding the police, when you call 911, what's going to happen? Hello, thank you for calling 911. Since you've been defunded, please call back in 5 days.
So I don't-
someone will call you back in 5 days.
So without a warrant, without a court order, they cannot do anything to me. Let them write a violation. I don't care.
I don't even know why the cops would do that. I don't know. But here's the thing. So we're under, well, the active officers, they're under the actual Taylor law, which is in the city charter,
Right.
which I think we need to amend also.
I agree.
because
but
there's a
they
lot
can't
of things.
Strike. The Taylor law is
with-
pretty much made for striking.
It's striking, but it's also, there's a bunch of things in there. Like, you know how Mayor de Blasio has his police police,
Escorts.
his detail and the public advocate, and and who's living in Fort Hamilton base now, Army base now. I thought.
We
Wow.
passed by. Boomy
Yeah.
and I passed by
Yeah.
the other night. We passed by City Hall.
Yeah.
And there were so many cop cars there with lights. I mean, literally like a
Yeah.
few feet away was another cop car. I never saw so many. Why is de Blasio so? I never saw so many cop cars
I
watching
don't know,
the mayor.
but he's using the
He has a
police
good
force that
reason.
he wants to defund.
Why would they even want to protect?
With the other members of the city council that voted against,
He is a
against the police department.
self-serving bastard. We know
He's
that.
defunding them and they're protecting him.
But that's because it's in the city charter. That's the hypocrisy. So if we could amend the city charter to go from representative democracy to a direct democracy, which is where everybody gets to vote on different things, instead of just we elect somebody and they make the votes, they make the laws.
Well,
agree.
Heshy in
I
a
agree.
position as councilman
Well,
could
I'm
also,
gonna
he can
be-
make these propositions,
Right.
propose these laws, offer them up,
Absolutely.
and
Well,
push
but-
them through the council.
But
Absolutely.
I'm not going to
Get
wake
rid
up
of the
till
anti-police policies that are tying the hands of the police officers.
Correct.
To restore law and order, police.
Look at how
I want you to know a $90 billion budget, $9 billion yet in the hole above that, and we're only giving the cops $6 billion. You're talking for cops,
No.
for
$5 billion now.
$5
billion.
But I'm saying we're
Just saying.
giving them the money when we have to pay their salaries, we have
Right.
to have cars, we have to have police stations, we have to keep them in order. This guy thinks it's a joke that these, the police officers really have a lot of
He's taking sides.
calculations and
You
budget.
cannot play sides as a politician. You cannot. You have to be impartial
But
and
1 minute-
unbiased.
Now, what about your PBA guy? I mean, what's his name again? The guy in charge of the PBA?
Pat Lynch.
Do you like him?
the Police Benevolent Association.
Well, so that's not my
Correct.
union.
I know.
I was in the DEA.
Patrolman's.
Oh, the DEA, but still,
which
Pat
is Michael
Lynch.
Palladino. Now it's Paul DiGiacomo.
But still, Pat is the head of really pretty much of all police officers.
Yeah. So you have Pat Lynch. You have
Who just came
Paul
out to
DiGiacomo
support
and
our this
Mullins.
what's her? No. Who did Pat Lynch come out to support? Soya. Her name is Nicole. What's her name? Was one.
Maliotakis.
I
Right.
love her. I
Right.
love her.
Yeah.
She's gonna win a knockout. I know everybody
I-
likes Max Rose. I hate that little bastard.
Our organization has been in contact with
Nicole?
Nicole's
Mallory
her
Jackson.
campaign, and we like what they stand for.
She's great. I spoke at one of her events. She's wonderful. She's smart. She's intelligent.
Right.
She actually cares about people. I did scream at her. I said, I warn you, Nicole, I'm coming after you if you don't take care of us, but I support you 100%. And she's very, very nice. And I just want you. Anyways, guys, we are still on the air with Tatiana and Jay. Tatiana, I want to ask you a question, Tatiana. The Black Lives Matter, they believe that, I mean, the way I see it, the way they're protesting, we're not going to be able to take our children back to school. As a mother of two, what's your opinion? And you too, Jay, you have a little girl, 3 years old, if I'm correct. What do you think about school? Can we open it? Is this thing over? What are you going to, you can't deal with your children home another season, Tatiana.
My kids are, thank God, not school age yet. I'm going to take it slow and hope the time doesn't fly by. But, we're taking, in medicine in general, it has always been a common practice to quarantine the ill and the risk group. Okay? Right now, we're quarantining the age group of the population that's least susceptible to the virus. So they've done huge studies, hundreds of thousands of kids from Europe, I don't remember which country, and they came up with the fact that only about 2% of kids would bring the virus home, would contact the virus, and it was like a tiny fraction that it would even show symptoms. So it goes to show that they don't have, most of the kids, they don't have the receptors to contract this virus in the first place. I mean, what are we doing, parents of kids of school age? How are they supposed to go to work? How are they supposed to make a living? Even if their jobs reopen, and they can go back to work.
But
What are they going to do?
For some reason, Tatiana, all the city employees seem not to have a problem going to work, and they
First
seem to be,
responders,
it just doesn't. I mean, not what. An inspector for the Department of Health, a building inspector walking around looking to see if there's COVID paperwork, and pretty much half of them are just giving violations if you have the proper paperwork. They're not even inspecting the job sites. So these guys are working. These guys must be, and they're getting something called not hazard pay, something, some other kind of a pay. They get like $2 an extra an hour for working during COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that you have little kids and they're not sitting in school, but I have big boys, and I'm telling you, in my neighborhood, all my schools are open. My camps, we opened up upstate. Everybody came back from camp.
You opened up the park.
And I opened up the park. Do you like taking your kid to the park, Tatiana? Do you take the kids to the park?
Of course, daily.
I love you. You know, those are
Heshy's the park buster.
that's my park, my darling. It's our parks, not mine. It's all of our parks.
And then what about
Exactly.
Cuomo putting the COVID patients in the nursing homes,
Right.
And then
Oh, my
blaming Trump?
God.
So there is
How many? 15,000,
by
20,000?
the way,
When there was a
there's
ship
going
in
to be
the harbor.
That's what she was saying. That's what she was saying. She
There
was just
is-
saying how that they're going and they're quarantining the children and the people that need to go
Yeah.
to work and provide. How about quarantining the
Ridiculous.
elderly and the people that are immunocompromised
There's going
instead
to-
of the
there-
rest of the
there-
world?
there
There's
are
a lot of fear,
They are-
and that's what caused a lot of these
But
riots right now because of the fear. And,
But
Media
they are
is
going
the media, that's
causing
right.
us
They are going to
fear.
answer for
Yep,
it. There,
the
there is,
media.
there is an investigation. Now, I want to tell you all of it. You old people say that Trump is a racist. Trump is a bad man. Trump is lying. So yesterday on the Republican National Convention, Herschel Walker, who I love, I don't know if you guys know him. He's a big time football
course.
star.
Yeah.
I was a little kid in yeshiva. I was 13, 14 years old, and there was a big article. Herschel is in football, you know, and everybody said, "Oh, it's your name, Herschel," but my name is Heshy. And the legendary Herschel Walker, gives a powerful speech yesterday that the Americans need to see that Trump is not a racist, and he knows him over 35 years.
He
So-
never was.
He never
His
was.
entire
never a
history
racist.
is taking care of people of all
funny
colors
how
and
Trump
religions and backgrounds
is-
and everything.
Guys, isn't it funny how Trump became a racist once he became a president? And he was never a racist before that?
I know, and that's what I'm trying
And
to
the
do.
media, the
interestingly
media's been
enough,
spinning him since
Biden, who happens to have a genuine racist history, a bigoted history,
He likes little
he's
girls too.
not. Yeah, he's not a racist, and he's going to be. But he's just going to have bosses known as Nancy Pelosi and the Squad and another bunch like that.
He's just a suit. He's an empty
That's
suit.
exactly what
He's
he
an
is.
empty suit
An
for the
empty suit.
ultra progressive agenda.
Liberal.
We cannot allow AOCs and Ilhan Omars
God
and the
forbid.
Pelosi's to get and the Harrises.
And the
Shoot.
Tlaibs.
They will defund the police and bring us back to
They will destroy
Sharia-
Sharia law.
And I
Sharia
just
law.
want you to-
socialist states of America. That's
And
what
I
will
just
become.
want you to know, I believe,
forbid.
even though I'm a Democrat,
I am hoping Trump is going to sign an executive order imposing term limits for Congress.
So
I'm really hoping
hope
for
so.
that.
Amen to that.
I just want you to know there was a Trump came into Jersey about 2 weeks ago, and I was invited to come to this thing and stand all the way in the back because I didn't have the kind of money to pay to sit in the front row. And after the Trump meeting, everybody heard the gossip that Trump went into a private room with about 14 of the big supporters, and he had a private roundtable meeting. And what Trump promised, he says, when I get reelected, I'm going to destroy de Blasio. Mr. Trump, I promise you I will be here for you. I will help you. Please, Mr. Trump, not only are you going to win,
We're
with
here
our
for
answer,
you.
we are here for you 100%. And I love you, Mr. Trump. And I'm telling you right now, I can't wait for it. And I want to get all this lawlessness off the streets, all the drug people, even though I feel bad for
We
them.
need
We have
the
homeless-
anarchy in this country.
Yes,
we
this-
need
it's
Trump
just getting-
2020,
we
and
need-
everybody needs to go out and vote.
Well, Heshy, like you
Vote,
said,
register to vote
That's right.
online.
like you said, that Thrive NYC program, the mental health initiative and homeless outreach.
Right.
You know, our organization is trying to uncover, hey, where's the 1.25 billion so we can at least refund the police for better training and better police community relations. That's part of our mission statement.
Instead,
Also,
Mr. de Blasio, instead of giving professionals like the police officers who are trained to work and interact with people in trouble or arrests, he wants to let the Department of Buildings inspector, a guy who doesn't even who's
social worker.
So, like,
Sir, please
Heshy,
put down the
that's
knife. Stop attacking your wife. Please put down the knife. And then what's going to happen when somebody gets killed? Where were the police? Where were the police?
One more question, Jay, before we end the show. Is it true that the mayors and stuff want you to go out and violate us, want you to push your arrest records up so you can get quotas?
Quotas, yes. So there was a quota. I'm not sure about now, but I know with the Comstat meetings, that was basically to see year after year where the crimes were. And I'm looking at the numbers right now. Gun violence, right? Bronx shootings up 60%. Brooklyn shootings up 102%.
It's horrifying.
Manhattan shootings up 54%. Queens shootings up 75%. Staten Island shootings up 108%.
Jay, I've been calling it the Wild West. It's ridiculous.
It's
Jay, I want to ask you
anarchy
something
and
before it's
chaos.
anarchy and chaos. Jay, I want to ask you something before we close the show tonight. I'd like to know, people would like to get involved in your organization and to help out. how could they reach out to the organization, put themselves forward? Is there an email?
So yeah,
Okay,
we're on every
how do-
we're on every social media platform.
Is there an address that they can reach out to directly? Say, I'd
What do
like
they
to
What's
say?
the
solve
social
that,
What
I'd
do
media?
like to
they-
help.
yeah, what's the name of the social media thing?
Standing Up for NYC,
Standing Up for NYC.
right? And we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and our email is standing up for NYC FOR NYC at gmail.com.
Well,
gmail.com.
we're coming to the end of the show. Tatiana, I want to thank you. Jay, you've been a great host.
Thank you.
Next week, we have a Holocaust survivor by the name of Inga Oberbacher. She wrote 6 books. She stood in front of the United Nations and spoke. She's coming on our show. She's 85 and
All
suffered
right.
through a big Holocaust.
Wow.
Thank everybody for
Hey.
listening to our show.
Thank you,
Watch
guys.
me. I watch my little videos. And Wednesday, I'll see you again. Jay, I love you. I'm not
Love you
grabbing
guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Tatiana, I did
Bye.
not grab Jay. I promise.
The preceding program is a paid advertisement. The opinions and views expressed therein do not necessarily reflect those of AM